Gone are the days of static colors and images on your website. If you really want to create a wow factor, Framer has you covered with the latest release of shaders. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use them and apply them to your next site. Let's go. So we're going to cover everything you need to know, including the limitations of shaders. First, we'll cover gradient shaders, then logo shaders, my personal favorite, image shaders, and finally effect shaders. And I'll also show you how to add them as a background graphic. So let's start with gradient shaders. So inside of Framer here, what I can do is go to the insert menu, scroll down to shaders, and you'll see all the different types of shaders that we can add. So we have a few different options here for gradient shaders. We have liquid gradient, we have holo, we have wave gradient, we have bands, and lastly, rings. Let's go with liquid gradient, and all I'm going to do is actually drag and drop this onto the page. Now, kind of when I do this, you can see the effect already starting to play, and if I go down to my properties panel on the right-hand side here, you can see all the different controls that we have for our liquid gradient. So we can set the colors of our shaders. So for example, if I start playing with some of these, you will notice that these are the colors that actually appear inside of my shader. So I could actually get a very unique combination of colors happening here. And we can remove or add multiple colors if we want to. So if we want to do a color, let's actually pick some sort of like a greeny blue effect going on here. We can basically totally customize the look and feel of this shader itself. There you go. That's starting to look pretty good. We also have our seed here, which is the unique pattern of that shader. So the way it's going to play. And as you can see, there is literally 1,000 different combinations for this shader. So you can imagine the amount of different effects that you could create here. And again, my recommendation is you just kind of click around and see what works. I mean, you can go through every single one if you want to, but it's just trying to find the one that kind of looks right for your effect that you want to create. We also have the speed here. So if I drag this up, this means it's going to play a lot quicker, but if I kind of slow it down, it means it's going to play a lot slower. We can scale this up or down as well. So maybe we actually want to have this a little bit more zoomed in. We can change the amplitude, the frequency, the definition. There's a lot of different settings that we can actually tweak here. I also really like adding noise to a gradient shader as well. It's a really nice sort of effect. So you've got the ability to add a smooth noise or a bit of a grain as well. So if I zoom in, you can see that grain starting to be applied. And I can also change the amount here as well. So very creatively, I can actually just start playing with a lot of different options that we have. So let's actually scale this out a little bit and let's increase the speed ever so slightly. And what I can actually do is set the width of this to be 100% and the height to be 100% as well. So it actually fits within my frame here. Now, if I go to the layers panel, you'll kind of notice that it's got a slightly different icon. Now, this essentially means it's a liquid gradient, and it kind of works like a vector where I can't actually put elements or frames inside of this gradient here. It kind of acts as its own solo layer. So for example, if I wanted to draw a new frame on the canvas, you will notice that I can only put it beside it, but I can't actually nest it inside of that liquid gradient. Now we'll actually cover how to add shaders as like backgrounds inside your website later on in this video. And this is one of the limitations when using shaders in Framer, because they're their own sort of like source layer and we can't actually nest things within it. It means that we have to do a little bit of trickery to actually make this appear behind other elements. Now, we also have logo shaders, which is my personal favorite. So we'll go to the insert menu once again, we'll go down to shaders, and we've got two options here. We have logo gradient and we have logo glass. Let's actually drag in logo glass here. And what I'm actually going to do so we can get these elements to overlap, I'm actually going to set the positioning type to be absolute. So it breaks away from the layout rules that are being applied to the frame that it's in. And we'll set the positioning to be to the center. Now, just like before, we have a bunch of different settings when it comes to this shader. So firstly, I can actually remove the background and I can actually upload my own SVG. So for example here, I'm just going to drag and drop in my SVG. And as you can see, now we actually have the control to add a shader to this image. So I can set the tint here for the logo glass. So for example, if I want it to be quite light, I can do that here. I can also set the seed just like before, which is the unique pattern for this actual shader. We can set the speed as well. So right now I feel like this is moving far too quickly. So let's actually scale this one down. And let's also actually scale the effect up so there's less definition. Now for every shader, you're going to have some unique properties here. So it really is just a matter of play and actually just experimenting with what looks good for you. For example, for this logo glass one here, we can also set the lighting effects here. So maybe I want more light or less lights. If I want more details, I can enhance them as well as the angle, which is pretty cool. So the more you sort of like tweak with this, the better an effect you're going to get. Now you'll also notice too that only when I have this element selected is this shader actually playing. Say if I select this background shader here, you'll notice that it will begin playing. Now this is happening just on the canvas. However, if I press preview, you can see that both these shader effects are playing and this will appear on the live site as well. Okay, so we're getting pretty far. Let's also take a look at image shaders. So I'm actually just going to delete both these shaders here. And we're going to go back to the insert menu, go down to shaders once again, and we'll have a bunch of different options here for image shaders. Now, essentially, this is applying an effect or a shader effect on top of an existing image that you can set. So we have Blockify, we have Pixels, we have Trachet. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. We have fluted glass and we have chromatic aberration. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing any of these correct. So for example, let's actually add in the Blockify shader here. And what I can actually do is go to my properties panel and we can select an image. So I'm going to open the Unsplash plugin and we're going to find a cool image here. Let's use one of the earth. And you'll notice essentially that effect or shader is being applied on top of that image. So let's actually just size this up. So we'll set the width and height to be 100%. And then again, just like before, inside of my properties panel here, I've got the ability to tweak all the styling. So if I want a little bit more definition on the actual tiles here, I can actually increase that like so. Or if I want less, I can do that just like so, which is super cool. And as you can see, literally with like zero code, we can create these really cool and just interesting effects in Framer. And as you can see, there's a bunch of different effects that we can actually apply. Now, the last type of shaders I want to show you are the effect shaders. Now we have two options here. We have mesh and we have particles. Let's actually play around with mesh. So I'm actually gonna draw this onto my frame here, and we're just going to put it off to the side for just a second. And what we're actually going to do is set this as a background to my hero section here. Now you'll notice, just like any other shader, I can actually tweak all the properties here within my properties panel. So we can set a different background color if we wanted to. So maybe we actually make this a bit of a darker blue. We can set the line width here for the mesh one, which is pretty cool. I actually want something fairly thin. We can set the line blur. So if we want it to be a lot more blurry, we can do that like so. We can also set the seed. We can set the speed. So if I want it to go a lot quicker or say a lot slower, we can do that here. The amplitude. And again, I think what I love about this is it's just play the way that design should be. And we can really just start to tweak and see what kind of looks cool. I think a bit more of a subtle effect here could be really nice. And we could even pick a different color for the lines. Yeah, sick. Okay, that looks great. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier in the video, one of the limitations with shaders is they kind of work as their own sort of layer and we can't actually nest things within it. So for example, let's say we want to take this background section here and we actually want it to be our mesh shader. How do I actually do that? Well, what I can do is actually take this shader, put it inside of my frame here. And what I'm going to do is set the positioning to be absolute, so it gets broken free from the layout rules that it's applied in. And what I'm going to do is set the positioning to be to the center, so you can see it's pinned to the center here. And we'll set the width and height to be 100%. So it takes up 100% of the width and height of the frame that it's in. As you can see, that's starting to apply here. but we still have the problem where the content is still being hidden. Now, this is where we can use a Z index in Framer, which essentially sets the hierarchy of different elements within the same section. So for example here, we have our text, which is called stack. And what I can do is go down to my styles, press a little plus, and add a Z index. Now, if I increase this number, you'll now notice that that text is appearing above that mesh shader. So why is this? Now, anytime we set an element in Framer to be absolute, it automatically gets given a Z index ID. So in this case, it's 1. Now, the higher the Z index, the higher it's going to appear above other elements. In Framer, by default, everything kind of has a Z index of 1, and it's only really exposed when you add it manually or make an element absolute. So in this case, because we actually want the text here to appear above the mesh shader here, we want to make sure that the text has a higher Z index than the mesh shader. And now because we've actually set this up, you can now see that when I preview, I have my text on the screen here, and we have this sort of mesh shader in the background. And we also have our pixeled blockify effect of a shader here as well. And that's how you can bring your site to life with shaders in Framer. What I love about this new update from the Framer team is it just kind of brings out my inner child. It just is a great place to play and a very quick way to just kind of add these new interactions and experiences to my website without writing literally any code. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you want more Framer tutorials just like it, subscribe to the channel because we're putting out new Framer videos every single week. And if you're interested in mastering Framer, like truly mastering it, feel free to check out my A to Z Framer course, where I teach you everything you need to know in over 100 lessons, 10 hours of content. Literally everything you need to become a Framer master is inside my course. And I even built a plugin so you can actually learn Framer in Framer. If you're interested in that, I'll leave a link in the description below. But until next time, I'll catch you later.